भैरवकालिके नमोस्तुते। ओम नमो भैरवाय नमो नमो ओम नमो भैरवाय सो ओम जय माँ काली, जय माध्या, जय माध्या, जय माध्या. So good morning, and we are back on yet another video, taking advantage of my temporary tamas that she has placed in my life as I sit detached from what was my career, my office, my daily routine that the body believed in and lived through. Absolute tamas, just existing, sitting in her thought, allowing her to simply take me over completely, give me so much of information, data about what people are thinking about in their daily life as they try to traverse in sadhana, try to remember their actual past births, try to remember their actual existence and why they are here, what is the reason for being born into this karma bhumi, what is the urge that they feel towards Ma Kali, why they are questing after Bhairava to create that state of vairagya, the highest state of vairagya that can directly take you to the state of oneness with Ma Kali, the darkness of light, that absolute blackness that you see in the night that reaches downwards into the Mrityu Loka, takes complete control of the Mrityu Loka where even the sun no longer shines. That Shakti. So allowing me to sit here, and I'm very thankful to her for the state of absolute tamas where I see absolutely nothing between me and the physicality of my life is almost at absolute zero right now. I'm absolutely enjoying this, and thanks to her for that. So coming back to the trip to Dakshineshwar and the entire Kolkata trip and some of the subjects that the young men and women had asked me on, and her answers to it. You need to let tamas breed within you, only then we can talk. So the few days that I've spent thinking on these, and the multiple incidents that she threw into my head, which is finally leading me to talk about these subjects here. Okay, so the physical being, the spiritual being, and the cosmic being, we do not go into the past and try to bring 10, 15 categories or 100 categories just to make it seem serious. We are actually making everything that was once complex into the most simple, because we do not have time to sit and read thousands of pages that were written 100, 200,000, 10,000 years back. Whatever is relevant today, we read it because it is what is there in our blood. We need not physically read it. We can simply unlock it by the grace of the Devi. Okay. So in Dakshineshwar, a very young Upasaka had started striking up a very good conversation with me, in which he revealed that he had recently, about 1.5 years back, lost his mother, who was an intense Krishna Bhakta. In one of my earliest videos, I had mentioned that oneness with your physical mother, the physical existence of your mother, and if you're extremely close to her, you will generally find that you are more drawn to the Sri Krishna Rupa of Ma Kali and not the Digambara Devi that you see as Kali. Majorly because the Divine Mother by herself, after sacrificing her yoni, so Ma Sati was at this absolute state of love and divine bliss that she felt during her union with Mahadeva, and then to sacrifice herself because Mahadeva, the unmoving entity, and Devi, who specifically pokes and draws his energy for the purpose of creation. This is what is Shiva and Shakti, right? We are all at a state where we understand this now. But the yoni, when she sacrifices the yoni and allows it to fall in the form of Ma Kamakhya in Assam, that the being that is creating anything and everything around you has physically lost her ability to bear. Though she is creating everything with Shakti, but she cannot physically bear in her own Garbhagriha. The Garbhagriha, that womb, is lying in Ma Kamakhya. That geographical location that we like to call Ma Kamakhya. So here, a very beautiful let us go deeper into Ma Sati. I have also addressed in my previous video how Ma Sati was extremely attached to her father, her mother. She was physically very attached to Mahadeva. She was this perfect bride. She wanted to ensure that Mahadeva was never insulted in the views of her father and mother, that is his in-laws. She ensured that she wanted to ensure that Daksha Prajapati and her mother, everybody kept the groom at the heights. At the same time, she also never gave up the honor of her father and mother in front of Mahadeva, because she was bound to it as a daughter to defend his honor. The daughter defends the honor of the father, mother, everybody in front of her husband. So this kind of very beautiful scenario is made, wherein Ma Sati embodies the absolute physicality. Ma Sati is more of a physical being than a spiritual being, because she is well aware that she will have to sacrifice her physical body before she also attains the higher state. A very beautiful message is given by Ma Adhya in her form as Ma Sati. Ma Sati is none other than Ma Adhya Kali. It is one of the most prominent names. Sita and Sati, they both come together in the Sahasranamavali. So going deeper into Ma Sati, the physical being who gives us the physical parts that are placed in 51 locations through this Karma Bhumi, where you are able to touch an Amsha of the Shakti in these places. So she is absolutely physical. There is nothing spiritual about her. What does the physical being do? Upon the great dishonor that she cites, where her own husband, who in front of Agni she takes as the divine consort, upon his dishonor, she says that neither is my father realized, neither is my husband coming in spite of my invitation, but at the same time, if he comes also, he is losing his honor in front of his in-laws. At the same time, I am not able to correct my father and mother's wrong, and ultimately she decides that I will sacrifice myself in the Agni, and she jumps into the fire. So what is she doing here? Why is she jumping into a fire? It is nothing but, I have spoken across the videos on how Ma Kali will first place you on the smashana, burn you off completely, and then give you life. This is what has happened with Ma Sati and Ma Parvati. She shows this beautiful message that till you are attached to the father, till you are attached to the mother, till you are attached to your husband, till you are attached to the physical entity of your birth, till there is physicality, there is no spirituality. Because you have two fires within you. You have the Bhuta Agni and the Shweta Agni. Till you can either digest the physical food that you consume by using the fire, the Agni Tattva, the Agni Chakra that is within you. You can digest your food, you can digest your thoughts, you can digest your career, you can digest your promotion, everything. Or you can switch that Agni off and switch on your spirit fire. When your spirit fire is burning, then you only go, everything is offered to the fire, like Ma Sati jumps into the divine yagya and sits there as she allows the physicality to burn off. So here what she does is she loses any and all physical connections to Daksha, who is her father. She loses all physical connections to Ma Prasuti, who is her mother. She loses all physical connections to be bound by her marriage to Mahadeva. Everything she loses, and she just sits inside, completely allowing her physicality to burn off. Here the lesson is very simple. Till you hold physicality at your highest, spirituality will never even start. No, but you are physically present in this body. Physically you are supposed to live through. See, do not look at the Vritti Loka as a lower as a lower space within creation itself. It is the highest space where we are all allowed to operate physically with free will. However, till the physicality is at your highest, spirituality will always be at the lowest. That is why Ma Sati, in order to ensure that she places her highest Shakti Amshas as Shakti Pidhas, she sacrifices everything. Her anger towards her father, anger towards Mahadeva for not ensuring that he attains the respects of the father, anger towards the father that he does not respect the father-in-law. Everything, she at that moment jumps into the Agni Chakra, the Agya, and sacrifices the physical part of it. So when this boy who met me in Dakshineshwar, he asked this question, that just like you told Guruji, till my mother was around, physically his mother was an exceptional bhakta of Sri Krishna. Till she was alive and with me, I and her both of were would always run after Sri Krishna, 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 Krishna. But after she has left, I can only see Ma Kali. Sri Krishna, the physical avatara, is just like Ma Sati, a physical being. A physical being is always bound. You cannot separate. You are creating in a kiln. You are creating a ceramic plate. You cannot separate the kiln and the plate. It will always be connected because that is where it came from. So as long as you're physically a Jagrat being, physically you see your father and you feel intense affection towards him, physically you see your mother and you feel intense affection towards her, you will find that you will always remain very detached from Devi. Because Devi by herself, her Sthala Purana, just like a temple has a history, a Devi has a history. Devi has a history of physically giving up her body. Only then she goes to the higher states. So till Ma Sati was prevalent and around on this specific cosmos, in this specific galaxy, she was a physical being. She sacrifices herself, empties the Garbhagriha of the body, being without the body. So Ma Parvati is a spiritual being. Both are the names of Ma Kali. Ma Parvati is a spiritual being now. She no longer has a physical yoni or the ability to bear a physical child. So what does she do? As a Kartikai Pengal, she has the 6 heads and gives birth Skanda in Kamakhya. Ma Yashodakya, the one who is in the form of Yashoda. Ma Devaki gives birth to Sri Krishna. Ma Yashoda could not give birth to Sri Krishna. Why? Because the yoni is not with her physically. Ma Yashoda will not be able to physically birth Sri Krishna because the yoni has been given off. So Ma Devaki gives birth to Sri Krishna and Ma Yashoda attains the ability and fulfills her lust towards being a mother, that urge and the thirst to live on this Mrityu Loka as a mother, to experience this, because she bore the brunt for all of us to get destroyed in the name of establishing Dharma, establishing the Shakti Pidha. She threw her yoni into Ma Kamakhya and fulfills that lust, desire to live life as the mother to Sri Krishna by adopting. So what is the key point here? Adoption. What do you have to do? Does Sri Krishna physically say that Ma Devaki is unfit? Devaki is also the Nama of Ma Kali. But we do not talk about living with Sri Krishna and Ma Devaki, living together, all the romance of the mother and son. What is the romance of the mother and son? All the small fights, hitting him, scolding him, pulling his ears, stopping him, everything. Ma Yashodha as Ma Kali enjoys everything. So what happens is that here very beautifully she says, like Sati, Ma Sati lost the ability to live with Mahadeva, who was her complete love, but sacrificed the physical body and then attains a spiritual body of Ma Parvati, who then lives, finishes off all the desire of living with Mahadeva through that avatara. Just like that, Ma Devaki, who gives birth to Sri Krishna, which is also the name of Sri Krishna, is also the name of Adhya. Ma Devaki is also name of Adhya. However, Devaki and Sri Krishna do not, because physical hair. Very beautifully she's placing an answer in front of you. We will go through that in this video. Physically, Ma Devaki does not get the chance of living with Sri Krishna, because here there is a message. As long as you are a physical being, you will not attain heights in spirituality. You will have to detach from the physical beings around you also. How do you detach? We'll talk about that. Then Ma Yashoda comes back and she lives every single second, moment, all the wishes of seeing a child, living with him day to day, taking care of him, watching him eat the mud. Watching him eat the mud. What was the greatest problem at that moment for Ma Yashoda was that her child, she who is Adhya herself, her child is eating the mud. She could have very easily, in a second, she could have removed Sri Krishna and immediately birthed him into this 6-foot man who takes care of himself. No, she said, I will take care of him. I will clean the mouth in which he has eaten the mud. I will endure him stealing my food. I will endure him as I breastfeed this baby. All the pains I will endure. Physically, the spiritual being physically lives through. However, she did not birth him. So the birth mother, you will have to detach from the birth mother, because the body that till you look at your own mother, the empty Garbhagriha has to be created for Devi. The Adhara, the empty Garbhagriha, the Adhara to hold that Garbhagriha will be given by Bhairava. So are you saying that I should completely detach from my mother? Should I say that, hey mother, from today I will not even look at your face, you are not my mother anymore? Do I say that? No. The body is around, you will rise to a state wherein you see your body, this body that is birthed and given a name by my mother, birth mother. As long as the body is around, I will give all the respect, salutations to her. However, I realize that karma of me and my mother is here, and I am now rising higher and moving towards a state of oneness with Ma Yashodha, who also is the mother to my spirit, to my jiva. She will breastfeed the jiva, she will take care of the jiva, she will wash the jiva, she will watch as the jiva, like a child, consumes mud, sand. She will hit her own head and say, what a silly child I have. She will enjoy. Ma Kali as Ma Yashodha enjoys every minute of taking care of Sri Krishna. So the physical being is there. You do not destroy the physical being and say that from today you are not my mother, which so many of these monks have misunderstood, and they said that I will completely detach and run away from my mother. No, mother is always present. However, spiritually you never take her as the mother anymore. Are you asking me to immediately cut off my mother? No. Just like the leaf on a tree. You have seen a leaf, a fresh leaf that is born. Physically it is born onto the tree. It is just hanging onto the tree. Winds hit it, winds of life hit it, Prakriti is hitting it again and again. It stays there strong, attached to the tree even now. It ages and it ages and it ages and ages. Slowly one day it falls off. When it falls off after aging, the dried leaf leaves no mark on the tree. It should be like that you detach from your physical mother and father. It very slowly, as life takes you through, whether they are alive or they are gone, dead and gone, you will be able to detach. At 22, I detached from my mother and father physically at the age of 24. They were very much present. I was fighting with them, scolding back and forth. All the love was always there. Looking forward to meeting was always there. Going back to their house on weekends was always there. However, spiritually, I was beginning to realize that physically this is all that they can give me. That realization has to come. They will either be physically taken away completely by virtue of death, or they will still be alive, but you rise higher little by little and realize that now I am looking here and I am seeing Devaki and Sri Krishna as myself. The birth purpose is done. The actual mother is Ma Yashodha, Yashodakya, the name of Ma Adhya. Devaki is also name of Ma Adhya. So she will birth you right. She will give birth to the leaf on the tree. However, she will also take the leaf away from the tree and then attain oneness as a leaf dissolves into the earth. You cannot pluck the leaf from it. The tree will also bleed and the leaf will also bleed. That is not the right way to detach. You do not pretend to have detached. You live through life. You live it and detach. So let the winds of life hit you, and slowly one day you fall. Beautifully detaching from the designs of birth. From Devaki you detach and go to Ma Yashodha. Both are Kali. However, Ma Yashodha is spiritual, Devaki is physical. You need both. But till you hug and say that I will not detach from Ma Devaki because I am absolutely in love with Ma Devaki, you will not see Ma Yashodha at all. Sri Krishna remains in the womb of Ma Devaki. That is where he was born. But a spiritual being, Sri Krishna being an avatara, did not have the rights to live with Devaki because his purpose was bigger and he had to rise at 24. I lost my mother. She is still around. But the title of the mother is now given to Ma Adhya Kali. So till the body is around, this fingernail is there, this hands, everything is there, nose, ears, everything, absolutely everything is around. When I see my mother, whenever she comes to me, whenever she calls me, whenever we have an interaction, this body talks to that body. This body talks to that body with all the respects that she deserves. However, Devaki and me, though we exist, we do not even exist. We also exist. There is this side that sees only Ma Yashodha, Yashodakya, the name of Adhya Kali. So, physically, till you are physically present, spirituality will always have a hit, a break. So, in life, you will find that slowly the detachment from your mother is beginning. You see her as a child now. who simply wishes to spend time with you, but you realize that you are a spiritual being, a cosmic being. At the end of your sadhana, you are going to become a cosmic being, physical, spiritual, cosmic, and you're slowly detaching and moving away from her. And let it happen. However, let it happen. Let it happen, but let it happen by itself. You do not physically say that from tomorrow I do not communicate to my mother. From tomorrow you are not my father. Karma yoga. Many 20, 22-year-old guys are in touch with me, and they all try to go close with Mahadhya. However, they do not realize that the body is still around and Devaki is still holding on to Sri Krishna. Devaki, every second Ma Devaki spent with Sri Krishna is karma yoga. As the birth son, the body that you have incurred, you have to pay respects to the womb. So, till Devaki slowly detach, physically you will find distance from your birth mother. Physically ho jayega wo. You will not find that, no, my mother does not allow me to bring Ma Adhya Kali into my house. I laugh, I think of this and I laugh and I say that, okay, the reason is that you're still with Devaki. Devaki is also Ma Kali. Let Ma Devaki, who is also in the Sahasranama, only the name of Ma Kali, let that Devaki enjoy that she has birthed in you. Will give her all the pleasures. The attachment will come. When it comes, Devaki will also not look forward to seeing your face. She will also be at a state of oneness with Adhya in some other form. In her own Jiva will be looking at Devi and she'll begin to forget you little by little. And you will very happily be able to run to my Yashoda. The glint in her eyes as she sees you as Shri Krishna, who has now detached from Devaki because she cannot bear you directly. That is the Leela of Ma Adhya Kali, because she sacrificed the physical yoni. She will never bear you directly in one form. The spiritual mother and the physical mother will be different forever, but both are Kali. Your body is birthed by Ma Devaki. Allow it to have its purpose. Let the leaf fall in the winds of karma. Slowly you fall. Don't rush. Physically, you will find that till you are with your father, till you are with your mother, there will always be a physical attachment. Who is the father and mother of Mahadeva? Nobody. Spiritually, there is no father, there is no mother. Adi Ananta. The one whose history, geography is unknown, whose origins are unknown. Where did he come from? Unknown. So, physically, am I asking you to immediately get desperate? Oh my God, then what about all this Om Bhairavai Nama that I'm doing in all these groups of sadhana, all these telegram groups, all this podcast? It is just to initiate you on this path. Do not be sitting in absolute confusion of whether I am eligible for it. Yes, you are eligible for it. However, you are still within the Karma Yoga. Devaki is still present. Finish it off. The day Devaki is either physically plucked away from your life, by brutally she will project. Now, what does it always happen to be by pure love that you will reject from Ma Devaki in your life? No. There will be moments where it will become so toxic that you cannot bear. You are finding yourself suffocated in the presence of Ma Devaki. That means, yes, physically you are now losing your physical mother. Physically you are losing your physical father. It is time to go towards Ma Yashoda. This is a beautiful answer she has given. As Sati, she jumps into the fire. Do you think that when she was sitting in the fire, she was enjoying that burn? She was burning. Ma Sati was burning. You should sit some nights. Take time out, go sit in a corner and meditate on Ma Sati as she burns. This will give you very rapid physical detachment from your father and mother. However, let it happen by itself. But till you are physically one with the father and mother, you will find spirituality is either being faked within you or you are not able to go higher, and you realize that you are not able to go higher because the physical being has to detach. Spiritual being has to rise. Misunderstanding this, all the monks and sampradayas today, what they do is, even while the child is full of love towards the Ma Devaki, physically they do the Pindadana of your mother now itself, but the child and the mother both are aching. They will be back together very soon. Ma laughs and says, physically this boy is still a child of me. I also will bear him physically. Again. 100 more lives. Devaki and Sri Krishna birthing again and again. Till you do not overcome the lust and jump into the fire like Ma Sati, when the burn comes, you will do it wholeheartedly. Did somebody force Ma Sati into the fire? Ancient times, people used to force these one. As soon as the husband is dead, they will throw the wife into the fire and say, you are Sati. No, it is not by force. That girl who was thrown into the fire had to take a rebirth, because she had a lot of other desires that were pending to forcefully these fools who could not understand the rituals threw her into the fire. Ma Sati volunteers for it. She detaches and says that, hey Mahadeva, from you also I detach. Hey Daksha Prajapati, my dearest father. Hey Prasuti Ma, my dearest mother. I detach from all of you physically, so that Loka Kalyan is there, and I give the greatest lesson that physically spirituality doesn't come. It doesn't mean that till you ache and want to sit in front of your mother and just hold her, till that is there, enjoy it. You don't have to pluck yourself brutally like Ma Sati. Let it burn off by itself. If you're enjoying that, then there's karma of enjoyment left. In some life, she has always wished to be your mother. She always ached and said that I could not spend time with you. Let me have time. Then let it happen. Let the detachment come like the leaf. But however, you're no longer feeling anything, and like a fire, that relationship is burning you. Every time you go near your mother, that's a rapid fight erupting. You are both under great distress. Then yes, like Ma Sati, place that into the smashana of fire, burn it off. Both ways are valid by itself. Let it happen by itself. Or it is so toxic now you cannot sit in the presence of your mother and father, then yes, you have entered the yagya like Ma Sati. Burn it off. So till you see Ma Devaki in your life, enjoy life like Sri Krishna does in the womb of Devaki. Do not rush towards Ma Yashoda. It will not come. But the day the empty Garbhagriha is seen and you can no longer sustain in the life of Devaki, detach and run towards Ma Yashoda. Be happy. She has given you invitation to take her as a spiritual mother, who will then again have the entire romance of bringing up the child. It is also a romance. The mother and the son, everything is absolute love. Right? From cleaning your mouth to washing your body to feeding you, taking care of you, everything she will also do. As you're birthing, what comes once you're getting out of the smashana that Ma Sati jumped into, that spiritual being is also being birthed as a baby jiva who has now entered into spirituality, or again a baby. That baby will be taken care of by my Adhya. This is Bhakti Marga. So giving more examples of the boy who lost the mother and now intensely running towards Ma Kali, very beautifully she gave me that, yes, you are right. That is the answer. Physical separation, or by force, or by the leaf, like the leaf that falls off. Both will happen. Both will lead to Mahadhya finally. Do not force it. If you still feel love for the mother and she is physically present, there is karma left for it. Enjoy it. Knowing very well that at this life or the next, you will walk to Ma Yashoda. See, the physical being, till you're physically very attached to what stimulus you feel towards the physical body, you will find that spirituality is always being faked, or it is not being fully attained by you. When I was walking to Dakshineshwar and our group was walking towards the Ganga Ghat, I saw that there is this man who has a sachet of shampoo. He has cut the shampoo open and he is washing his hair and all with shampoo. What is the purpose of Snana in Ganga? The Divya water, the divine water of Ma Ganga is supposed to purify you spiritually. It is not about removing the smell of your body that stings because of its exposure to the Prakriti, or it is not supposed to clean you or give you the sense of cleaning. To the foolish man who is using shampoo in Ganga Ghat, how unrealized is he? Whereas the girl who sang that beautiful melody of Ma Kali, and I got the darshan of Ma Kali near the dhoti, that girl, she tells me a beautiful story which is also related. What happened is that the girl has walked, Molly has walked to the banks of Ma Ganga. She has slipped. Even while we were going this time, she's telling everybody, hold my hand, no, somebody hold my hand, because she has got this memory and that is going into my ears, and I know there is some reason why this is happening. It is very beautiful. I see on one side, Molly the girl, when she sang the song, I could get the vision of Ma Adhya near the dhoti of Sri Ramakrishna. She speaks about how she was completely dipped. When she spoke this, even my wife heard it and she also kept on repeating this story in the hotel. So I understood, okay, Prakriti or Ma, It wants me to focus on the story. So Molly had earlier, when long back, when she had visited this bank of Ganga river, she had slipped and completely drenched into that river. And an old man and an old woman have lifted her up and taken her out. She was also holding her office bag and all that. Later on, she realizes that though she has got completely dipped and drenched, the office bag and all this is completely dry. She does not know what happened. I saw this, the spiritual being that is this girl, she's a spiritual being. Okay, she's not a physical being. She has already detached from the Garbhagriha of the physical mother. She has been bathed and given entry into spirituality. And then I see the other guy in my last trip who's using shampoo and taking bath in the Ganga Ghat. So he's physically washing himself. This fool does not realize, this foolish being does not realize, the unrealized being, that it is not meant to physically clean your body when you dip into Ma Ganga. So both are there. Spiritually, the girl was drenched, and later on, whose song very beautifully invokes Ma Kali in the dhoti that I get the vision of. And the other guy who's physically washing the dirt on his hair. He thinks that he's taking a divine snana. Foolishness. Ma Ganga is not for a physical bath. It is to take one dip and take a spiritual bath. Again, this gives us the two very important things. This guy is not going to see her inside, because he is still physically cleaning his body. The dirt on your body is also Devi. Body is also Devi. You are also Devi. Then what are you trying to clean before you enter the Garbhagriha? Another question was asked to me in the eco park by a young Upasaka who asked me, sometimes I am too late and I am not able to take a bath. So this also correlates. So yes, in the 4 heads of Brahma, you have to clean your body specifically before you sit in front of Devi. However, in the 5th head, you realize that what are you cleaning? Are you saying the body became dirty? Then what is the dirt? From where did the dirt come? That is also Prakriti. When Devi is the Prakriti and the pollution in the Prakriti is also Devi, when the sweat is also Devi, everything is Devi, then what are you cleaning? The cleaning should be spiritual cleaning. Spiritually, you should be clean, not by putting shampoo in Ganga Ghat. Physical being and spiritual being. Understand the difference between these two. After the eco park, this one, if there are 40-50 people who came, most of them were like, they were not bothered about how they will return, but some of them texted me and said that you should be worried on how people, whether they are safe, you have to check with everybody, whether you have reached home safely. Though the identity of aham is too big. So you should check whether they are getting drinks, you should check whether they are offered tea, coffee. This is the sense of I that is speaking through. Even within a spiritual, physically a person has come. Physically, if somebody is coming into a spiritual group, they will still think that, have I been offered coffee? Have I been kept properly? Have I been saluted? Have I been offered respects? This is a physical being. It's not a spiritual being. I. The sense of I will always take you to the lower birth, the lower ahamkara, aham. Whereas there were others who were not even bothered whether the mosquito is biting, they only want to hear. Physical and spiritual being. Another beautiful way in which Ma showed me that there could be somebody born into a spiritual house but still be a very mere physical being. Only I matters. Have I been saluted to? Have I been given tea, coffee? Have I been kept well? Have I been offered a chair? Have I been given respects? I should be kept well. I should be respected. I should not be compared with others. I should be kept at a higher level. I should not be kept with them. They are all lower. They are all higher. They are not my class. This is all physical. This happened in the eco park. I was wondering, there are so many who can come and get bitten by the mosquitoes and do not even care. And there are so many who are thinking about how the tea and coffee are offered in their hand, whether they are given sufficient seating, whether their well-being is being taken care of. So physical being and spiritual being. The spiritual being does not care. It is no longer even attaching to the body. It just wants to hear the Leela of Ma. It just wants to hear the name of Ma. It doesn't care about anything else. And it will be taken care of Ma also. Safely they'll land home. So a boy who has come from many kilometers away just to have a seating in Eco Park, who was driving through the night in a two-wheeler, he was afraid whether it became so strenuous for him, he was afraid whether he will reach home safely. But this boy reached home very safely, and she said that I do not even know how I came home. I am just struggling, it is so cold and all, but I came home only due to Ma. So the spiritual being's physical welfare will always be taken care of, because Ma Yashoda always cleaned the mouth of Sri Krishna when he ate the mud. The physical being goes home in anger, angst, and he's continuously complaining. The physical being is always thinking that I was not kept well. Even though the purpose was spiritual, the physical being only thinks of the physicality. I was not looked at well, I was not respected little more. But the spiritual being who came there without even booking a proper ticket, 5-6 hours of driving in a two-wheeler, the spiritual being thinks that for a moment he thought that he will not even make it, but he will not even make home. He thought that he might die in the highway itself. But when Devaki is no longer the mother of Sri Krishna, who is the mother? Ma Yashodha. As the physical being enters into the spirituality, the mother is Adhya. The mother will look after you spiritually. She will take care of you. She will feed you. She will bathe you. She will clean the mouth even if you eat all the dirt that is there in the Mrityu-loka. She will clean it off. So, physical person who was complaining and the spiritual being who did not even care for their own welfare, just wanted to meet and talk about the Leela of Devi, was taken care of very beautifully, successfully reaches home and is in complete shock. How did I reach home so safe? How did I drive for 6 hours? He's in shock. How did I drive for 6 hours in a two-wheeler and I've reached safe? And he writes very beautifully as Devi gives a completion to this message that yes, I will, as Ma Yashodha, take care of the being that is detached from the physical Garbhagriha. That is a spiritual being, the other one is a physical being. Both are absolutely fine. They are in different Kala Chakras. The physical being will quest for physical pleasures, will need all the physical pleasures, and finally, when the physical Garbhagriha breaks, physical presence of the parents get destroyed and finds itself completely lacking any physical support, she realizes that now Ma Yashodha is calling you and saying, come, let me clean your mouth of all the mud that you have eaten as baby Krishna. I am now your mother. So the physical, spiritual. It's already 36 minutes. Let me try to give you more examples. Karma Yoga cannot be escaped from. You are birthed into a body, you should take care of the body at the highest levels, you should go through the career and ensure that you are always going and you shut up and you show up. That is Karma Yoga. You shut up and you show up. It is going to be difficult, but as a spiritual being who is now put through the career, who has to back up the boss, take care of the boss, drive in traffic, fight through the designs of Kali Purusha, will always, Yashodha, Ma Yashodha Kya, will always take care of you. Another example of a physical being, I'll tell you. So I was, then we moved we had reached the airport and we were being taken to the flight in the bus. You know, they have a shuttle bus, right? So I'm standing in that bus and I saw that a husband, a wife is pushing a pram with a baby inside. Baby in the sense that girl will be at least 3 years old, but they had still kept her in the pram. And they have a son, and the son was named after a bhakta of Sri Narasimha. I'm thinking this family seems very odd and I'm just observing. So the husband walks directly in, comes near the bus. The son, who should be 6 or 7 years old, jumps into the bus correctly and the husband appreciates the son, saying, good job, you have taken care of yourself. And the husband walks straight into the end of the bus and takes the last seat in the bus. Now the lady comes with the pram. The girl is clearly well capable of walking by herself, but she prefers to push her in the pram. In Sri Krishna's message, in the message of the arrows, one of the arrows had gone and fell in such a place wherein they saw that a cow who was recently birthed, a baby calf, keeps on licking the calf and the calf is bleeding. People are trying to protect the calf, but the mother cow does not allow the calf to be taken to safety. So this example, this girl who can very well walk but is being pushed into a pram, and the pram is huge. I also have a pram. We had kept it in the cargo so that it doesn't disturb anybody, but this lady is pushing such a huge pram and she's coming. Just watching her. The husband who had gone and sat in the end of the bus. Okay, so the bus will have two sides seating, right? And a small corridor that takes you all the way till the end. Here there is a gap, and then again a small corridor with seats. The husband left their hand baggage right in the middle of it, in a perfect gate kind of a position in which nobody could now go inside. And there an old lady who's trying to go to the other side. She's asking everybody, whose bag is this? Whose bag is this? Husband does not care. The wife has just gotten inside with the pram. She is well aware that the lady is not able to go upstairs because their bag is blocking now. She's asking everybody, whose bag is this? Whose bag is this? I know that it is their bag. So I asked the lady, shall I move it? She says, hey, I am with child, how can I move it? They have to adjust, right? She literally says this to me, and I already know that some message is coming from Devi. I am listening. She literally says that this bag which her husband has left in the middle of it, and she's well aware that the old woman is no longer able to go upstairs because nobody can go upstairs until the bag is moved. She says that it is not her problem because she's carrying a child. So her problem becomes the problem of the entire universe. She says that you will all partake in my problem, you will all partake in my pain. Because I am pained, you also have to take some of that pain. This is a physical being. The physical being here says that any pain I have, I am being made the victim of my karma. You are never the victim of your karma. Life places you in a specific place. Devi places you in a specific place, in a specific scenario, facing specific troubles that are beautifully the perfect embodiment of your karma. You do not say that it is, oh, all of you, I am suffering, so all of you, I have been wronged, so all of you should suffer. That is the perfect example of a physical being. This lady, I am surprised. I am just looking at her. It is your bag that has disturbed everybody on this one, especially an old lady struggling to move it. And you are saying that it is not your responsibility. So I just lifted the bag and turned it a little. It was like this, completely blocking the door. I just turned it and kept it to a side so that people could at least walk. At that moment, when I touched the bag, she said, okay, can you give it here? Okay. I lifted it and gave it to her. Imagine, this is the classic example of a physical being. However, the small girl who was sitting in the pram, she was reaching out to everybody and saying hi. And the mother kept stopping her. Of course, these days it is very dangerous for a child to say hi to strangers, but still that child is full of innocence and the mother is cutting the child off. That baby girl's spirit says, I want to say hi to everybody and love everybody on earth. The mother says, no. She is refusing to share the love of the child with everybody. However, she says that the baggage that she carries is everybody. So, she says that the karma of my pains everybody should bear. Since I have a husband who dumped the bag in middle and is comfortably sitting at the end watching the bag disturbing everybody, he refuses to move. Let somebody else come and clean. I saw a big symbol on their forehead. They are dressed like spiritual beings. However, they are not being spiritual. They have forgotten the lessons of Sri Krishna. Have they even read the Gita? I don't know. So when the child beautifully reaches out to everybody and is trying to touch everybody and say hi, a 3-year-old girl, there is a covering for the pram. The mother is trying to close it. The girl opens the covering again and she is saying hi to me. Specifically to me, she is touching my hand and saying hi. Of course, in today's designs of Kali Purusha, it is unsafe for a small girl or small boy to say hi to strangers, but still, mother is still there, right? She's saying hi and the mother is shutting down the lid, says that no, don't touch people, don't talk to anybody, don't look at people, she says. Don't even look at people. So the beautiful child whose spirit says that she will say hi to everybody. And the mother says, no. You do not share the boons of your karma with anybody. The beautiful child that you made who could light up the entire bus with her smile, you will not share. However, you will share the baggage that you carry of your karma by causing problem to everybody. What a beautiful lesson Devi gave me. I'm just wondering, in this 30 seconds you spoke so much to me, because she is Para Prakriti, she is Para Brahman, she is everything. She has created the entire cosmos, every tree, every design of every baggage, every bus, every flight that is taking off and landing, every tire burst of the flight also, it is her. I'm just smiling and like, okay, this exceptional lesson, huh? Okay. Can a spiritual being be veiled? This lady is exposing so much of toxicity into the air because of her inability to understand that it is her karma that the husband has left the baggage in the middle of it and he's not even bothered as everybody is struggling with it. Now everybody knows that it is her luggage and everybody is looking at her with accusation. She has earned the karma of a husband who could not even come forward and help with that baggage. While she also says that my husband and the problem that I have incurred is everybody's problem, all of you suffer. While her beautiful child, which also came out of that marriage, she says hi to everybody. She says, no, do not be good to anybody. Because the lady now has completely believed that the life that she has been birthed into is not a good one. You will be nasty to everybody. In spirituality, once you enter into spirituality, you, like the winds that touch the leaf on the tree, you will not fully absorb that negativity within. That kavach should always be around you. Just because this lady was so nasty, I was not nasty to her. I later on lifted the bag and said, I will keep it near you so that they are also happy. You also don't have to put effort to it. She didn't say thanks also. Or maybe she did say thank. I don't exactly remember, but she was not, because I knew that it was her luggage, she took the effort and got it near her. Otherwise, she would not have. She would have let that luggage be everybody's problem. So a physical being thinks that all of its suffering is the world suffering, everybody. The moment it sees a suffering, the physical being will empower the suffering to such a way that suffering will create 10 more suffering. Whereas a spiritual being, like the leaf that is hit by the wind slowly, it will be unaffected. The day it is no longer attached to the tree, it will fall off and fly off in the wind. However, it will not try to cause pain simply because it is in pain. Sign of a spiritual being. In life, you will be exposed to all kind of stimulus. Other example, finally we have gone and sat into the plane. A lot of delays, many people doing all sorts of absolute madness with their luggage. People have sat inside and they're still asking for luggage. They are forcing the ground crew is all over the flight. I'm not even understanding. For 1 hour we are sitting simply and watching. We are taking off from Kolkata and coming back to Chennai. And I'm just watching and all this I'm experiencing. Finally, the ground crew has vacated the flight and we are preparing for takeoff and we are in the air. So by this time, it is almost 11:30 and my son is hungry. Then there is an old man right in front of our row. As soon as the flight is up, he calls the air hostess. My son manages to touch. He wants to reach the air hostess that call button. However, he has not been able to reach it. So, the old man in front of us has not pre-booked a meal. He is fighting with the air hostess saying that he wants a meal, but he has not pre-booked. He must not be aware of the procedures for it. He is, however, fighting with the air hostess for the sandwich. My 6-year-old son, he is also fighting for a sandwich. Now, my wife, who is to an extent a spiritual being, is being waylaid by the exposure to my son's constant nagging. She says that okay, he wants us. Generally, what happens? The air hostess will bring the tray through the flight, and row-wise they will give you the refreshments that you've already booked, right? Or else they might bring it directly to your seat before the entire tray comes pre-booked. They will come and give you, right? The old man with full grey hair must be in his late 60s, and my 6-year-old son, both are behaving in the same way. So it means that it is not the age that matters. It is the spirit that matters. Age teaches you nothing. It teaches you nothing. But here the bigger example is my wife, who is also, to an extent a spiritual being. She is being waylaid by my son's constant asking, and she is now asking me, call the air hostess and ask for his foot. As per the procedures, there will be sufficient delays, there will be sufficient checkpoints that they need to make, and they will come and give it to you. I told her, you are allowing the 6-year-old, that energy of the 6-year-old to dictate your mind frame, and you are now taking that unbridled prana that he's putting into, effort that he's putting into the sandwich, and you are allowing that to dictate you, and you are using that to dictate me. What is happening here? The spiritual being is responding and taking in the physical stimulus and being disturbed. Like the leaf, you should learn to be non-reactive to the Prakriti. You should not allow a child to immediately dictate your mind frame. That level of vairagya, you will be, I realize where I am. I realize what is happening. I realize the stimulus that is being put in front of me, and I have the judgment making ability to realize that the 6-year-old does not understand that in next 2 minutes that sandwich is going to come. I don't have to poke it, call the air hostess here, simply disturb her flow of duty just to make it faster by 2 minutes. However, my wife has allowed the child, to physically stimulate her and elicit a response. I, on the other hand, have negated it and said, and in the next 2 minutes, the sandwich reached us. So, it is not the age. Do not expect that somebody is simply aged, they will show you the right path. You should allow your higher self as a sadhaka to dictate who you are, how to react, how to attain anything that you wish for, how to go about it. You should allow your own intellect to guide you. Every stimulus that is thrown onto you, you should know when to stop and say, no, there will be no reaction from me for this. There will be a reaction for this. When to react. The spiritual being does not have a physical reaction to everything. This is something you have to learn. Similarly, as many of us 20, 22-year-olds, 30-year-olds, as we enter into different facets of our career, you will find that the spirituality that is you're holding here and the physicality that is your job, your career, how do you handle it? When you are... This beautiful example is given in Mahabharata itself, that no matter how righteous Yudhishthira is, when Duryodhana sits at the throne, he listens to it. If you're working in an office, if you're working in an environment where people who have never even gone to a job and all that, you will have that very soon in your next life or something subsequent to it. People who are being kept well, you might be a very nascent jiva, just entering into all this. But if you have been put into a position where you have to answer to a boss, realize that he who holds the chair, he should be respected physically. Surrender all your pain spiritually to the Divine Mother. However, if you're working in an office, if there is somebody in a cabin who holds the position of the king of that floor, simply bow and walk out. There is nothing that you can do to it's not that you immediately start fighting with him for everything that you want to attain. Everything he says you will fight back. You will never be at peace. You are spiritually, like my wife got wavered by the small 6-year-old saying that, in 2 minutes the sandwich is coming. However, the child was able to influence her to such an extent that she was now trying to, yes, let us somehow get him his sandwich. Actually, what is the answer? Physical stimulus, physically quell the child. If even an absolute moron is sitting as your boss, physically respect the chair. That is all it is. And do not hold on to it. He is scolding you, he is being nasty to you. Understand that where there is some generational trauma which has put you there, and you are atoning for it. Immediately while going through that pain, talk to Sri Krishna like Panchali. Talk to your Devi. Talk to your Ishta. I realize what is happening. Hasten this. Do not try immediately start fighting in the darbar. There will be a time when you have to lift the arrow and shoot that also. Sri Krishna will give you the mind. So, as a spiritual being, be careful of Prakriti trying to pull you into physical reactions. Every time you start a physical reaction, you empower it because you are spiritually powerful. The physical beings are here, spiritual being is here. Every time the spiritual being is being pulled to a physical reaction, understand that the spiritual being is full of Shakti, that he can now empower that battle to such an extent that that mere reaction from you can immediately give the chance to Kali Purusha to invoke Kurukshetra there. You will be fighting with your boss, you will lose your job, you will get destroyed, you will get thrown out, transferred, thrown into some absolute crap so that your sadhana is disturbed. So spiritual beings always be non-reactive to physical beings, always be muted. But when finally Kurukshetra has opened up, and it was not by your doing, but they themselves did worse, and finally Kurukshetra is on, pick up the arrow of Dharma and shoot the arrow of Dharma and be detached from that arrow also. Because what is an arrow? Bow and arrow why is bow and arrow the instrument of Arjuna? Because you cannot attach yourself to an arrow. Once it is left your quiver, it's over. You forget it. Arjuna doesn't look back at the arrow anymore. It's finished. Dharma done. But Arjuna doesn't run all over. At the moment Panchali is being insulted in the Bhari Sabha, in the court of the king, Arjuna doesn't lift the arrow immediately. He watches, waits, and surrenders it along with Panchali to Sri Krishna, his Ishta. And Shri Krishna guides him. It is now time to shoot the arrow in Kurukshetra, but not in your office. Not by fighting against your boss. You will destroy yourself. You do not quest after a fight. The spiritual being only reacts. And when to react? Listen to Shri Krishna. Go through all his messages in Gita. Understand why the bow and arrow is the weapon of Arjuna. But because once the arrow is released, he no longer has control over it. It will be by the divine intervention of Devi. If it has to destroy an entire building, she will take care of it. You are detached from it. Your only job was to take the bow and shoot it. But if you are in court, even if the king is Duryodhana, absolute fool, is sitting by the designs of Kali Purusha, accept the power of the throne. Do not sit and spoil your sadhana by incurring unnecessary, because every time a spiritual being reacts to a physical stimulus, he will empower it 10x, 100x than a spiritual being. Spiritual being effect is just small, it's just tiny. He is just capable of fighting small fights. But the spiritual being that you are now in the path of sadhana, you are so powerful that you will be able to unlock, and the Kali Purusha will find the chance to pull you into the lower states. Being physically non-reactive, that state of vairagya should come. So how do you handle your boss, your career? Being non-reactive to it every day, you will see that moment where finally it is Kurukshetra, you have to get down and fight. But you do not go and make that place a Kurukshetra by yourself. Let it happen by itself. Let it come to a point where you can no longer, you will be destroyed. Then Sri Krishna will say, pick up the bow and arrow and shoot. Until then, the physical being stays as away as possible from the physical turmoils of daily life, career and all this. You do not run after them trying to lift a bow and arrow and destroy people. You will be non-reactive. Like the winds keep on blowing and hitting the leaf, and the new leaf enjoys the wind, but Devaki is still holding in the womb. Finally, when the leaf falls, and Ma Yashoda will hold you and take care of you. Clean your mouth of all the sand that you have eaten. Groom you to be a spectacular young man and woman. Physical being and spiritual being. Ma Sati and Ma Parvati. Ma Parvati's lust towards the motherhood, she embodies and becomes Ma Yashoda and enjoys it through Sri Krishna. I think I'm done for today. Bhairava Kalike Namostute. Om Namo Bhairavaya Namo Namah. Om Namo Bhairavaya Swaha. We are in the designs of Kali Yuga, and we have to go through the path of these YouTube algorithms and all that. So do like, give that thumbs up so that the channel does not go into absolute invisibility, because all that is seen by this algorithms. So go and like all the videos so that it is not getting absolutely invisible, so the right people will be able to see these videos. Share it to somebody who will, you feel that somebody is in great pain. Share it to them. If it will be of use to them, let it be. You'll get the grace of that, that small share. It could help somebody who is now without devoid and in complete clutches of Kali Purusha, does not know how to handle the mother at this point, wants to go higher in spirituality but is getting destroyed. So share it. Throat pain is coming back, and I think I'll take off.